Welcome back to another race, you guys. My name is Tyler, and today the World of Outlaws are at the smallest track on the 2021 schedule, the Jacksonville Speedway in Jacksonville, Illinois. The last time the World of Outlaws were on track at Jacksonville, CARSON MACEDO picked up the win in the number 2 Kyle Larson Racing sprint car. And while a lot has changed as far as the landscape of where drivers are and who they race for, I expect two things to remain the same. Number one, Jacksonville Speedway is going to put on a heck of a show. Qualifying, heat races, and the feature are always so fun to watch at this tight little bull ring, and I expect the same to be tonight. And then number two, I expect CARSON MACEDO and another guy like Aaron Reitzel to be up front all night long. CARSON and Aaron are two of the hardest racing drivers that the World of Outlaws have, and I expect these guys to be up front, as well as David Gravel. David, coming off of a swept weekend in Bristol, Tennessee, is now second in the points and looking to continue that momentum. And CARSON, David, and Aaron have the most heat race wins in the 2021 season so far, so I expect these guys to be up front all night long. As I mentioned, David is second in the points after sweeping the weekend in Bristol. The number 2 Big Game Motorsports team has looked so strong on those big tracks, but we'll see how they look on these tight little bull rings. They are all chasing the big cat, Brad Sweet still. Brad didn't finish on the podium in Bristol at all, and after starting off the season hot and finishing on the podium in every single race leading up to the weekend before Bristol since Volusia, Brad Sweet is now looking to get back on the podium. Brad Sweet and DONNY SCHATZ have finished in the top 5 in every race that the World of Outlaws have had at the Jacksonville Speedway in the last 3 events. That leads me into my next point. I've mentioned so many guys in this video so far, and the competition this year is so high. You know, the World of Outlaws are the best of the best, but we've seen in the last couple years that there's been maybe 3 guys at the top of the series points. But this year, it just seems like it extends all the way down into the top 10 through the points. You know, every night a different guy could win, and different guys have different tracks that they like. So hopefully you guys are loving the racing action so far this year. I know I am, and hopefully you guys are enjoying the race reviews that I'm doing, keeping up with the World of Outlaws all season long. We've got a little under 70 races left in the season, and we're getting into some hot and heavy racing and some of my favorite tracks on the schedule. So let's get right into it. Jacksonville Speedway tonight, $10,000 on the line for the World of Outlaws return to Illinois. Let's go. Tonight we've got 29 cars in the pits. We've got all the World of Outlaw guys, a bunch of local guys that will be competitive tonight, and then some guy named Kyle Larson decided to show up on a Thursday night to run with the World of Outlaws. So tonight's 40-lap feature is gonna be a doozy. In hot laps, we're already creeping towards a 9-second lap around the quarter-mile bull ring on dirt. I mean, that is flying. 9 seconds, this is unbelievable. Creeping towards the track record, so gonna be a fantastic night. The track is in really good shape, and let's get right into qualifying results. Qualifying goes by really quickly when you're running sub 10-second laps, and tonight we set a brand new track record. The previous track record was set the last time the World of Outlaws were at the track by Aaron Reitzel. Aaron ultimately finished 3rd in qualifying tonight. Second was last week's winner, David Gravel, and setting a brand new track record at Jacksonville Speedway at a time of 9.99 is the number 17 of Sheldon Haudenschild. Rounding out the top 6, 4th was Brad Sweet, 5th was Rico Abreu, and 6th was Kyle Larson. Again, I give you the top 6 because tonight we're gonna have 3 heat races. The top 2 are gonna go to the dash, the top 6 are gonna transfer into the feature, and the rest will go to the last chance showdown. 10 laps around the track in each heat race. Let's get right into it. In heat race number 1, we had Sheldon Haudenschild and Brad Sweet on the front row ahead of Logan Schchuchart and CARSON MACEDO. The top 2 would transfer into the dash, and Sheldon would get out to the early lead. On lap number 2, Andy Bishop would get upside down. We have a double file restart. On the restart, Sheldon extended his lead and goes on to win heat race number 1. In second, holding off CARSON MACEDO, was Brad Sweet, and Logan Schchuchart finished in 4th. Race number 2, we had David Gravel starting on the pole. Next to him was Rico Abreu, and they finished where they started, 1-2. David goes on to win, and Rico will go into the dash with him. Finishing in 3rd was DONNY SCHATZ, as he got around PPM about halfway through the race. Wayne Johnson and Jason Sides. Jason actually started outside of a transfer spot, and Wayne was starting in 6th, and they both actually advanced into tonight's feature. Jason actually battled with Riley Goodnow for the middle part of the race to be able to get around him into that final transfer spot, and then heat race number 3 was next. In heat race number 3, we had Kyle Larson and Aaron Reitzel starting on the front row, and these guys would trade sliders through the first 2 laps. Kyle Larson would actually go on to win, and he'll go to the dash with Aaron Reitzel, who finished second. And these guys were out in front of some slide job wars for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. J-Mac got into 3rd ahead of Jacob Allen, and then we had Tim Kading and Zach Hampton battling for the 5th and 6th spots going into tonight's A main. Finishing outside of the transfer spots tonight were Outlaw regulars Mason Daniel and the rookie Brock Zierfoss. So those guys will go to the last chance showdown. The dash would set the top 6 starters for tonight's feature. We would go 8 laps around, and starting on the pole was Sheldon Haudenschild, and next to him was Brad Sweet. And Brad, after finishing 4th, 3rd, and 2nd in the last 3 events at the Jacksonville Speedway, will start on the pole of tonight's feature event. Next to him will be Sheldon Haudenschild. Last chance showdown would be 12 laps, and we were looking to have Outlaw regulars Mason Daniel and Brock Zierfoss get into the feature tonight, and they both get in along with some local guys. Zach Dahm, Garrett Williamson, Riley Goodnow, and Josh Schneiderman all transfer into tonight's feature event. Up next is the 40-lap feature. Brad Sweet is going to start on the pole of tonight's feature event, and like I said, he's finished 4th, 3rd, and 2nd, and looking to one-up that to pick up the win tonight. This would be Brad's 6th win on the season and looking to extend his points lead. Starting next to him is Sheldon Haudenschild, and I think tonight is just going to be all about consistency for Sheldon, getting back to the podium and staying right there with Brad and David and Carson. Carson, like I mentioned, is going to be starting in the 7th spot tonight, so look for him to charge forward early along with James McFadden. James is really good on these tight bull rings, so I look for the KKR number 9 to be charging towards the front early on. Past winners at the track include Christopher Bell, Joey Saldana, and then the last time we were here was CARSON MACEDO, so he'll look to go back-to-back at the track, but everybody else is looking to put their name at the top of the win list tonight for the 40-lap feature. Right at the start, Sheldon Haudenschild and Brad Sweet would go off into turn number 1, and Sheldon would rip the top around him and lead lap number 1. On lap number 2, as the field was scattering across the quarter-mile bull ring, Zach Hampton gets sideways in front of Robert Ballou and brings out the caution. On the restart, Sheldon gets out to the lead again in front of Brad and David. On lap number 6, Kyle Larson, CARSON MACEDO was charging forward, and J-Mac was charging forward as well. We're all battling for the 6th position as the track was really starting to widen out and getting very technical on the top. On lap number 7, Sheldon Haudenschild was starting to get into lap traffic, and then on lap number 8, Garrett Williamson comes to a stop at the top of turn number 4, bringing out the caution, and he's not happy also with Zach Hampton too. On the restart, Brad Sweet shoots around Sheldon Haudenschild for the lead and would go on to lead a few laps as we were heading almost to the halfway point, and J-Mac was already up to 4th, getting around Kyle Larson. 22 to go, we were starting to get into lap traffic, and Sheldon Haudenschild was stalking Brad Sweet. David was lurking too, and you could pretty much go all over, but everybody was really hitting the middle of turn 1 and 2. With 21 laps to go, J-Mac was running in the top 5, and he actually spins, and we stayed green. CARSON MACEDO would actually get around him and Kyle Larson to go into the 3rd spot as David was starting to slip back to 4th. We would go for quite a few more laps and would get to 12 to go, and the hole in turn 1 and 2 was getting even bigger. Guys were bouncing through it. With 12 to go, Sheldon would go through it and almost get sideways in front of everybody. And then the next lap, Wayne Johnson flips through the hole in turn 1 and 2. Aaron Reitzel comes to a stop after getting into him as well. J-Mac gets upside down in the hole as well, and Logan comes to a stop, and Wayne Johnson would not finish the night. He tore up the race car pretty hard. Aaron Reitzel, who was running in the top 10, would actually go to the rear of the field. J-Mac, who was running in the top 4, then spun, was still running in the top 10 to the rear of the field, and Logan Schuchart in the Shark Racing 1S would go to the tail as well. Restart with 8 laps to go. Sheldon Haudenschild would dart back out to the lead in front of Brad Sweet, and a few laps later, he would bring out the caution, leading the race, headed for another victory in 2021. He brings out the caution for a flat right rear. Restart with 7 laps to go. Brad Sweet was leading in front of David, Donnie, and Jacob Allen was even getting towards the front as well, running the bottom. With 4 laps to go, like I said, David is really starting to roll the bottom, and Donnie are rolling the bottom as well, and Donnie gets around David, chasing down Brad Sweet for the win. The white flag lap, Donnie gets back around David, and then the caution comes out as Zach Hampton, exiting turn number 4 on the white flag lap, gets sideways and brings out the caution, and we would have a green-white checkered to finish the Jacksonville Speedway feature event. On the restart, Brad Sweet gets to the bottom and holds off a hard-charging Donny Schatz. Donnie actually got by him going down the backstretch, and then Brad just, set a perfect turn in turn number 3 and 4 and got back around Donnie. Sweet picks up win number 6 on the season. He extends his point lead over a 3rd place finishing David Gravel, and Donny Schatz picks up another podium finish. This is back-to-back runner-up finishes for the number 15 of Donny Schatz, and all of these guys are starting to get right into the thick of their season. Brad Sweet is looking strong and looking at a 3rd championship in a row. Tomorrow night is the brand new I-70 Motorsports Park, and this is going to be a great racetrack. The last time the World of Outlaws were here was quite a long time ago, and it was a half-mile track. It's been reconfigured down to a 3/8 mile, and I look for some great action tonight. So make sure you guys like, subscribe, and tune in to all the racing action live on Dirt Vision. And until next time, we'll see you at the next track.